You are very welcome to a new part of the Ready4Raiding strategy guide. In the next few minutes, we will explain a few abilities. To make it easier, we're showing them with an identification tag with 3 different symbols, which are supposed to show you if these are suitable for your player type or not. Enough talking, let's meet the actual boss. This is the fire spider Beth. If we try to attack her on the ground, she retreats quickly onto her net, to which we have to follow her with a small part of the group. Beth doesn't want us there, which is why she attacks us with fireballs. But those only destroy her net, more or less, and we fall back down through the holes. Down on the ground, the fire hurts quite a bit, so we gather there, but thankfully the net gets so damaged by the fire that Beth falls down automatically. And then we can step on her, like it should be done to a spider. Since you now know the plan, I can show you the whole lot during the actual game. During the first phase, Beth'tilac rests on her net above. And as long as she isn't engaged by a tank, she keeps producing this kind of fire rain, which causes damage, but not too much. If you cuddle a bit here, you can cope with it quite well. First, there are these cinder web spinners who have a yellow bottom. You have to destroy those as soon as possible at the beginning of the fight and during the fire rain. Once one of those is killed, it leaves a red string behind that the players can use to climb up towards the net. A tank, 3 healers and 3 or 4 DPS should climb up. The rest of the group stays down and takes care of the arriving spiders. The rest means 3 or 4 healers, the remaining DPS and 1 tank, which tanks the cinderweb drone. One of those drones you can see arriving here in the background. She has to be tanked and pulled towards the green marked position. As the camera keeps turning all the time, it happens easily that you lose orientation, so I will show the situation on a map. Our group is shown by the green dot in the middle of the map. The pink dot is the spawning point of the drone. And the 3 orange points are the theoretical spawning points for the cinderweb spiderlings, the very small spiders. Those spiderlings are constantly trying to get to the drone. If they reach her, she heals herself. The main task for the group down here is to slow down the spiderlings and to kill them before they reach her, and then to kill the drone. Here, in the live game, you can see we are using frost traps and the earthbind totems from our shamans and whatever we can think of. The drones spawn every 60 seconds, and you have to kill them after a maximum of 85 seconds, because otherwise they would climb up and siphon Beth'tilac for energy. If that happens, the first phase, which we see here at the moment, gets shortened, and that should not happen. You can see here that 1 or 2 players are coming back down on the red strings. They do that because beside the meteor attack by Beth'tilac, which burns the holes into the net, a second attack is going to happen. Every 90 seconds, Beth'tilac starts the smoldering devastation, which sets the entire net on fire and would kill everybody who is still around there. That's why you have to jump down every 90 seconds through the holes, kill the cinderweb spinners, who are spawning now, climb back up with your small special force, and keep on tanking Beth'tilac. During the relatively short period of time, 30 seconds, when nobody is on top of the net, there is a fire rain. But that shouldn't be too bad. If you cuddle a bit, you can answer with some healing circles. The damage by the spark fire isn't that strong. What you should remember about the smoldering devastation and the ember flare is that when it happens 3 times, Beth'tilac will come down. That means the first phase is over and the second one begins. When that happens, you should have brought her, the Red Widow, down to about 80 or maybe 75% of her health. For us, it was only the first smoldering devastation, which is why I have some time to explain a few other things. Most of the things happening down here have to do with the cinderweb drone, which should be turned away from the group constantly by the tank, because she has a cone-shaped attack which should only hit the tank. If only one of the spiderlings gets through, she consumes it and recharges 20% of her health, which in turn keeps you from killing her quickly enough. It also increases her speed by 20%. The whole lot is stackable, and therefore it could quickly be deadly if the spiderlings get through. The spiderlings themselves have no special abilities, but the cinderweb spinners, who are hanging from the ceiling, have some indeed. They have the lowest priority for you, but at some stage you should kill them. For one, to free the red strings because you have to send up some players, and also because they shoot randomly at players and cause damage. But again, they should have the lowest priority unless there is a fire rain coming from above and you have to send players up immediately. That was it in regard to the explanations for the phase down here. Unfortunately, I cannot show you any pictures from above, but as I said, the most important thing there is to make sure the tank is as close as possible to Beth'tilac, with 1 or 2 healers by his side. If you really want to risk it, just in case the fire damage gets too high down here, and what shouldn't happen, you can send the tank in straight away and let him trigger a few defensive cooldowns, but again, that should not be necessary. Beth'tilac only uses the meteor fire above, and you have to run out of the fire circles. How many DPS you hand to the tank and the 3 healers totally depends on how you get on down here. The more you nuke Beth during the first phase, the lesser health she has for phase 2. In this phase, you should cuddle again with the group, ideally near Beth's bottom. And both tanks should be standing in front of Beth'tilac, approximately 90 degrees apart. The reason for that is that they have to taunt her every now and again, because at some stage she will apply the Widow's Kiss, which reduces the healing on the tank. Which means that as soon as one of them gets kissed, a debuff stacks up on him and reduces the healing more and more. Taunt off, and it's all good. During the entire second phase, Beth'tilac produces her Ember Flare down here, which means the group suffers damage continuously. Also, a Frenzy buff stacks up on Beth'tilac every 5 seconds, which raises the damage on the fire and the tanks. From 10 stacks on, you should start using Heroism, Time Warp and Bloodlust to be able to keep up with the healing and obviously to kill Beth'tilac as soon as possible. Once you get to 18 stacks, and Beth'tilac isn't dead, you should start using special raid cooldowns to reduce the damage. You should agree to an order in which you do that, so your healers can use Tranquility, Power Word, Barrier, etc. In case it's not as easy peasy as we are showing it here, you should drink a few things like the Volcanic Potion, which increases your damage output briefly. With that, Beth'tilac should not be a problem, as she is one of the easiest opponents here. Together with Rylith and Chanox, you should be able to overcome her easily. As always, you can find a detailed guide to this fight on Ready4Raiding.com. That's all I have to say about this fight. I wish you all the best and hopefully we will meet again in the next guide.